Feel the faucet, let's get it.
Woo! Yeah. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. Got my call from the R2R. Farmers going up, Brody, check the chart. In the loots, buying all these plots. Thomas G and Mike got the chat on lock. Wanna drip and pause. Got these dogs and pigeons, farm me, I'm ready to score. Got me a bag of the rich and hard, I think I need more. Group got me in the wave, now I'm swimming the shore. Now I'm up to the core. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches. It's R2R, it's R2R. Back to riches, back to riches.
Yeah, no, welcome to R2R Wreck to Riches, episode number 77. Man, what a journey it's been on live streaming Monday through Friday for a while now. Episode 100, just around the corner. Don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor. For damn sure, I'm professional. This is cryptocurrency. Don't ever allow an influencer on any social media platform out there to influence you when it comes to cryptocurrency because you could lose it all, right? If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, post notifications, you know the drill. If you're on X, go smash the like button there, retweet it, hashtags all your Pulsechain. Let's get this show on the road. Thank you for being here. Goo God, what's up? Shout out to Enki, shout out to Alien, shout out to Alien X, the Goo God squad, and everybody out there. Christian Cordova, yo, what's going on? PTGC, let's effing go. UFO, I mean, we're going to get right into that. But, man, tough day in the office, right? Look at the price of Bitcoin. $94,647. What in the world is going on? Waking up to this thinking like we were going to bounce back and be like 98, 99,000. It's crazy, huh? Everything we talk about Hart's Law and how we're bonded to Pulse and everything, everything's bonded to, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's bonded to like the stock market too. There's some correlation there. So it's interesting to see, the reactions out there. And I ask people, like, what dojo are you from, bro? Like, where you been training? Because if you've been in the ecosystem that I'm in, like Pulsechain and Hex, Richard Hart says volatility is the price you paid for mad gains. So what happens when you reach $100,000 Bitcoin and then you go above $100,000 Bitcoin? People start setting longs, they start setting shorts, and you'll see some crazy times where, whether it goes up or down, people get liquidated. It's like the Ponzi within the entire ecosystem of crypto. It's these centralized exchanges that are, wicking the prices and liquidating users on, whether it's going up or down, longs or shorts. So a lot of that could be happening. A lot could be BlackRock moved like tons of Bitcoin to 600 different wallets. There's a lot of things going on in crypto, but if we're really in a bull market and we're on the verge of it going parabolic to $120,000 Bitcoin, 150,000, 200,000, like I said, what dojo are you from, bro? Volatility is the price you pay for mad gains. It's hard for me when I look at my portfolio, for example, today, I'm like, oh, you see, like you're down 100 grand, like across the board, right? And it's good when you're up, but then you get used to it. Imagine if you're this guy, whoever this guy is, right? Just maybe even like not even 48 hours ago, this was plus 20 million, 30 million in the green when you go into look into rh.com, right? Now it's minus $41 million in the red. And, he's been sitting on that bag. We'll speculate RH has been sitting on that bag for a while. Don't show no signs of complaining about it and worried about it. But you think like we have such tiny bags compared to like the sacrifice address, and there's big money out there to watch these swings north or south, hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars plus or minus, and they just sit through them. So it's just it is a tough day. It's like one of those days where you got to find the light in the darkness somehow. You're in a dark tunnel, you got to find the light. And so happens we're going to talk about UFO today. And that was just in my group. And I was like, bro, like if you look at the UFO chart right now, you're like, oh, it's down, but versus everything that's going down in Pulsechain, UFO is holding up pretty well, especially even like the free copies, right? When it comes to USDT and pDAI, it's holding its own. It really is. And we're going to do a little bit of UFO moon math. Let me take myself off the screen so you guys can see, everything, up close, right? Get my face off there. We're gonna do a little bit of moon math, but let's take a look before we jump into there. Like, want to do a little bit of ecosystem moon math? Let me take a look at the comments. Is liquidity providing on Pulse V2 worth it? If coins pump, will your LP pump as well? You got to look into impermanent loss of one token goes off compared to the other. You get more of the token that's not going up, but you need to research that and make the decision. But obviously, when prices go up on both ends, your value goes up. Yo, Thomas is an old R2R member. I missed a link to the new group. Can you help? You're going to have to follow me on Twitter. Go to the link tree and hit me up in there. It links you to R2R. Yeah, dog. What's up, Blockhead? Yes, Mike. He was answering your question about the LP when it goes up in price. Thank you, God, for that. Jerome in the house. Hey, man, there is no Jerome today, huh? Jerome is not in the house today. But, guys, before we move forward, I'm still excited and getting ready for a blockchain that's going to be launching, Sonic. So if you haven't participated in the Bad Bunny, right, you haven't gotten your Bad Bunny tap to earn, in the description of the video here, you'll have instructions on how to do so. But here's a quick video for you because Bad Bunny just got a full-on facelift. Getting ready for Sonic. Fair launch, tap to earn. Check it out.
Yeah, dog. It's Thomas here from R2R. Welcome to the Bad Bunny Tap to Earn free game, where you can earn your free airdrop by simply tapping your screen. All you got to do is follow the instructions in the description of this video. Step number 1, no laptop computers, no desktops, anything like that. You're going to need a smartphone. Step number 2, if you don't have Telegram, download one and log into your Telegram account. Or simply log in if you have one already. Step 3, click the link below in the description, and it's going to take you straight to Bad Bunny, where you can tap to earn your free Bad Bunny meme token airdrop. Let's go!
All right. So check it out. Remember, Bad Bunny meme token going to launch on SwapX over on the Sonic blockchain. A lot of hype around that. So let's do a little bit of ecosystem moon math before we go into the UFO moon math, right? And we'll base it off. Let's take a look. What is the value of looking to RH? 602 million, right? So let's do the moon math on the entire ecosystem on this calculator, all right? Because now you take a look at the Pulsechain reserve amount, 602 million. So we'll type that in, right? And you can see the total here, but you can select for it to do, and this doesn't include like any type of sell pressure on the ecosystem. This is just moon math with like the RH treasury injections. Let's say he put 400 million evenly between all of the Pulsechain tickers. So let's put the value at, let's say, $1 billion, right? 1 billion. Let's say the SAC treasury gets to 1 billion and he injects into all his tickers. Let's take a look here. Oh, let's make it 1.2, right? If we're in 4 tickers, right? 400 million evenly between 1, 2, 3, 4. Calculate the prices. Do a little bit of moon math on the ecosystem. And you can select right here, like the liquidity removal simulator. It does a little bit like removing of LP on the way up, which people do. But look at the prices. Pulse, 0.00566, 75.57x. Damn, that would be nice. That would be nice. If ETH recovers, obviously, in the, SAC Daddy wallet's like 1 billion plus. This is like the what if scenario here. PulseX from the prices here with this type of injection into PulseX, 400 million. Remember, we're just doing a little bit of fun moon math. 0.007. That's 145.65x. Ink would be $509. That's 157.75x. Hex would go from an initial price of 2.5 cents plus to $5.30. So that's not accounting for, sell pressure. That's just like the buy pressure. That's just if it bought and no one sold. You can select this here and change it to the recommended 7%. If you read here, it says selecting this simulates liquidity removal by providers who are losing on impermanent loss. The number you select will be the percentage removed every time the pair doubles in ratio in a recent sample. So when Hex gained 2x against Wrapped Pulse, we found 7.17% LP removed around the 3x gain. About 25% LP was removed. Thus, we provided a slider and an option for you to speculate yourself. So let me select that. It's actually kind of cool. Let me see. Let's see what the numbers turn out to be after that. And then we'll get over to our calculator. So this is with adding that suggested 7.17% LP removal. The prices change and it goes many X's higher. If you see right here, 7,202x, it's 53-cent pulse. And that's with $400 million injected into obviously each ticker here. You can lower the numbers. You can, I'll put the link in the link's in the description, but I'll put it in the chat for you guys too to kind of play around with it, because we're on a moon math day. It's always fun to speculate, right? But I'll tell you, it gets a little rough. Talking about the SAC address being worth 1.2 million, we go look at Ethereum, and it's $3,500. It was just 4,000. My gosh, man! Like Richard says, volatility is the price you pay for mad gains. Let me take a look what's going on in the stock market, right? Stock market, the Dow's down 40.5 points, something like that. Not too bad. I don't know if there's some big events taking place. Fed struggle to show the last of inflation points to rate cuts. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in the stock market. I haven't really looked into it, but let's go to our moon math calculators for UFO. So we're looking at the price of UFO right here, right now, and we'll cover PTGC as well if you guys are looking to do that. PTGC, man, look at the ratios. Look at this. Can you believe that? 6.1893. Wow. And when I interviewed him, and I was like, congrats, bro. It's like a 1-to-2 ratio now. It just kept going and going. Outperforming Pulsechain. Outperforming Pulse. And then you have UFO with the same technology, secondary token with the same type of technology, and it's doing the same thing. We just surpassed the ratio. Let me go back. Of being below, like when I got in, it was like a 0.2 or something like that to Pulsechain ratio. It's at a 1.08. It keeps climbing. Remember, we don't care about price. We look at ratios in these ecosystems. It's crazy to see how much it continues to outperform Pulse, just like PTGC. It's deja vu all over while earning reflections. So I think now that we look at this and we go, okay, by January 1st, 2025, it's safe to say, I could speculate it'll be a 1-to-2 ratio, right? Which is insanity. That means we're continuously getting more gains, getting more pulse back on our return on investment down the road Maybe you just hold till it's a 1 to 6 like PTGC, and then PTGC is maybe a 1 to 12. You know, it looks like the sky's the limit, and it continues to utilize the alien technology, man. It doesn't require volume from human beings, by the way. It doesn't require volume from human beings. It does its own, with or without, right? So let's go to the moon math. Do a little bit of moon math for UFO. The big what ifs scenarios. And I love the website here. Shout out to Crypto Kong. You could get the premium package and get the whole shebang, right? So if you guys are looking to do that, these are the prices, right? We're looking at the freebie right here. You can get the 280 to 350 package. But while we're at it, man, take off my hat, man. I get those sinus pressure headaches. Can't even wear my hat, bro. Like, man, the weather. It's insane. The PTGC still has 9K holders. That's it. It's going to quadruple that, watch. It's a little bit of moon math here for the moon boys, the speculators. We'll start off with UFO and Pulse. You'll see here it says UFO Pulsechain, Pulse Token, LP 150X. And the numbers are plugged in. So this is like saying that Pulsechain is going to get to a certain price point, right? But UFO is going to 10x that, like do a 10x beyond its point. And I'll explain it to you here. So you'll see it says UFO, the paired address, the X factor sit at 10, paired token price 71x. Gosh, I love that T. Select calculate, and it's going to tell you, you know, what the current prices are. The ratio we just looked at, the 1.08, the moon math results. So when you look at this assumption, right, this is a speculative calculation. It's moon math. So wrapped pulse will reach a price of 0.005 is the assumption. UFO will outperform pulse by a 10x. Now, if that happens, you're at a 710x potential on UFO. If UFO price, right, is here as far as 0.005, the base UFO price, right? You see how there's a UFO price here, wrapped pulse in a ratio. If the base price here, which the base price is the current ratio staying the same. So if Pulsechain did a 10x and it kept this ratio at a 1.08, it would be a 71x potential. Okay. Follow me here. It would be a 71x potential if the ratio stayed identical to where it's at right now at the 1.08 UFO to wrapped pulse ratio, and Pulsechain did a 10x. That's insane. Okay. That's the base. Now, if we want to do comparisons and take a look at how PTGC continues to outperform Pulse, and now it's at a 1 to 6 ratio plus, you know, based off of those stats, then it's not too far-fetched, right, to look at numbers and say anywhere in between the base and the final, right, which at full potential, the final price is it outperforming Pulse by a 10x. Let's say it's just outperforming Pulse by a 5x, and you cut that number in half. I can do a X factor of 5, and it becomes a 355x. If the ratio, right, doesn't stay the same at the base, but it performs a 5x beyond what Pulse does at a 10x, right? So UFO will outperform Pulse by 5x. Then you're at a 355x. So the X multipliers and the way like UFO and PTGC has been designed, we're seeing the early activity on the chart as far as the ratio starting to split. It hit 1-to-1. Now it's starting to split north to go head to 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4. It's the same technology. We saw what PTGC did. Now we see UFO doing the same thing, slowly working its magic. I would put my moon math guesstimation, and I know it was set at a 10x factor, but at a 5x would be reasonable. But at the lowest, the base, keeping it the same would still be crazy, right? Even at the base price. So if I want to look at the base price right now, and as far as the ratio, and let's go take a look here at the price of UFO. That's a lot of gains right there, bro. Like if you have a $10,000 investment right now, right, at this price, based off the moon math here, and the ratio stays the same, and then you have like the 10x on Pulse, right? You can double up the numbers and go back to a 10x multiplier, which is not far. It's not far out of reach. Like it's not something that's like, hey, that'll never happen. But what seems more like likely to not happen is the base to stay the same, where we've seen PTGC go off from 1-to-1 to 1-to-6. But on a $10,000 investment, let's just say in a parallel universe, for whatever reason, the ratio doesn't increase, even though it has the same alien tech that we call it like PTGC, and you get a 71x, it's like a $710,000 come up on a $10,000 investment. That's just keeping it at the base. Moon math it though, bro. Moon math that and get your 710x or 710x on a $10,000 investment, and you end up with 7.1 mil. So I just meet down the middle and see $3,550,000, and all the things I've seen in crypto happen, nothing seems impossible or out of reach. To be honest, out of everything I've seen, like you got to really look back from the beginning of time and see where Bitcoin has gone up millions of X's. So it's bizarre, man. Moon math is not crazy in crypto. If you take the price, for example, of Ethereum, $3,557, and divide that where I bought all my ETH at $7, that's 508x from when I first bought Ethereum, where we're at today. And now you're on Pulsechain, where we looked earlier at the what ifs, right, on the calculator here from the injections from the sacrifice address. These types of calculations, and if the ecosystem gets injections of these sizes, even if it's 100 million per ticker, the moon math becomes even more real, right? When you're looking at the PTGC UFO calculator. Then you have the UFO, right here, UFO pDAI. So the pDAI narrative is interesting. Let's say it pegs, right? The speculators that are speculating on this to happen are right. Okay, there's an X multiplier on the pDAI narrative, and it's set on default, right, at a 5X multiplier. So that's saying, right, that pDAI reaches $1, which is, I believe, like still 33X away or something along those numbers, and UFO outperforms it by a 5X, then at the base of the ratios between UFO and DAI remaining the same at a 0.003, that's a 35.73x. Moon math statistics jump into a 170.66x, 178x if UFO outperforms pDAI by a 5x. Why is a 5x a low number? Well, because that would mean that UFO would just stop outperforming it once pDAI hit $1, which is only like a 33x, which is like in Richard Hart's quote unquote words, limp dick gains, right? So you have all these X multipliers that could happen on the price of UFO and PTGC across the board. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. And you come down here and they have like MAV token, X token, and X token. We'll take a look at X token with PTGC, right? The calculator has it just at a 2x factor. So let me pull up X token really quick because I think, did I put it in this one? No, I didn't. I think it's interesting because everything that is bonding to PTGC and, following Hart's law, and it's participating with that same, mindset of bonding liquidity, like X is with like the aliens and all Enki and all them. It's going to be interesting to see the moon math take place on a token like X, on tokens like Enki, on tokens like Alien, because they have tiny market caps right now, like 4.4 million. So let's jump to the moon math calculator for X. They gotta get the other ones on there, huh? So did we hit calculate? Yeah. So the current price of 62 cents, price ratio 1214, that's X to PTGC. Just at a base, right? If PTGC hit 10 cents, X outperforms it by 2x. Base X price $121.44, right? And everyone's like, that's crazy. It really isn't when you have tokens like this. They're burning the hell out of their own supply. And you look at Hart's law and look at the X multipliers that are taking place. We've already seen the X multiplier work pretty good. PTGC set the comps, set the example of what's actually, able to happen, right? It's really like I look at this and I go, people are going to look at this and be like, yeah, right, bro. But no, go to your favorite RH ticker like Hex and Wrap Pulse, and you'll probably be like, oh, okay, I get it. Like it could happen with Hex, but Hex got like a huge market cap already. So does, Pulse. But the reality is when you change like the X factors, let's just give it a 2x factor here. And let's say the Hex ratio to Pulse, 352, right, is the base of where it's at. And Hex only hits 79 cents at the base. And that's where Pulse hits 0.0022. That final price would be $1.58 Hex. But I jump back over here, right? And I know that liquidity is not factoring into the moon math on the ecosystem. But a $400 million injection into Hex would put it, pretty crazy far out there. We can clear the stats here and change it up and make the numbers much lower, right? Let's just say Hex gets a $100 million injection from the SAC funds, and we'll set the liquidity, at a 7.7 like recommended, like I said, the stats say, of liquidity removal. I'll leave it 7.6. That sends Hex from 2 cents to $2.41, a 91x. So these moon math numbers aren't crazy at all. It's not even factoring in the fact that would make these X multipliers real is money that's already in the bank, aka Treasury, ready to go at any moment when it's the right time. And the pDAI narrative. That happens. Injections from the SAC prices. Like, there's going to be some things that we'll talk about here in the next year or two, and we're going to look back and go, man, we didn't dream big enough. We weren't thinking big enough. Because why would we limit ourselves, or why have I limited myself to thinking like $1 hex seems crazy, when I've seen Bitcoin go from 10 cents to where it's at today? I bought ETH at $7. It's $3,500. I bought 100 million Doge and started the 100 million Doge token club back on my old YouTube channel back in like 2016, and sold it all thinking it would never get to these prices. And it did. It didn't seem like it was possible. And that was just with, my brain not understanding and not seeing the potential of cryptocurrency. So Moon Math really just comes out to, in my honest opinion, on these calculators. And of course, if you're the founder and you're looking at this, you would say, hey, no expectations. Take this with a grain of salt. But the Moon Math in crypto, whether you look at it from now to when it does happen, it's just basic math in crypto. Moon Math is really basic math in crypto. And now that we have so many cryptocurrencies that we've seen done millions and thousands of X's, and we've seen the reason behind that market caps and more users growing, liquidity, everything that we have now that we didn't have then, but now we have early access to Pulsechain, early access to microcap currencies across the board. Moon Math is just basic math. It's like, oh, duh. Of course that can 1000x. Of course that can have a 10x multiplier, 10x UFO can outperform Pulse by a 10x, 5x is reasonable. It's all there. There's a lot of money that could be injected into the ecosystem, not just from a sacrifice address, but just from the users that have yet to come in and the users that are there now. And then if a pDAI narrative hits, all this extra capital comes out of nowhere. Maybe the Moon Math is not even like being reasonably displayed. Maybe we should be putting, 20x factors, all kinds of things. So I don't look at that as like silly business. I go, hey, this is probably the closest thing to the real deal Holyfield. X is the gem. Yes, it is. It really is. And we go down, right, and look at where you at, Gugod. We look at your currencies as well. We look at Alien. We look at the pairs in Alien and what you've done across the board. Hart's Law right here, bro. All this. So it's just a web of liquidity that when everything else goes up, you're coming with me, right? Alien's coming with me. And there's more X's to be made on the lower market caps. So as we sit in these, like Alien, for example, and then we sit in Enki, another example, all the liquidity webs as well, with Atropa, Teddy Bear, all the right picks, PTGC, all those grow. You're coming with me. And there's many more X's to make on top of what you put in versus like, going into something that has a much larger market cap. But market caps are, like Richard said, it's just a vanity number. Or is that the word, vanity? It's just a number, because UFO market cap and PTGC and all the ones that are burning as well, like we said, their own tokens, they're under the umbrella of the liquidity webs. With the Alien technology, they're burning supply. So when you burn supply, that affects the market cap. So the market cap will go down at points when you're burning tokens, and go up, obviously, with price. But that number is going to continuously be altered in some kind of way, whether it's a small amount or a large amount, depending on the volume and what's being burned. But UFO and all these tokens right now operate with human volume and volume that doesn't need humans. Now, when they simultaneously are going side by side and their trading's happening between human beings and the bots in the background, and we're seeing in real time how that's affecting the reflections, the price, in addition to that, what it's burning. Imagine when we get 5-10x the volume at the peak, heading towards the peak at the top of the mountain to the Pulsechain all-time highs. Trading volume goes crazy, and you're sitting there enjoying all that reward and reflections, and tokens are being burned, creating scarcity on your asset that you're holding, creating more value for your token. It's going to be a wonderful ride. So like today, I don't know exactly what's going on as we look at these prices of Ethereum and Bitcoin, but I do believe there will be a bounce. People are getting liquidated right now. There's when there's blood in the streets, people sell. People, and then there's those that accumulate. So unless you entirely believe that the bull market and everything topped and it's over, and you get out and that's what happens, you were smart. But if you don't believe that, where I don't believe we hit a top yet, we're not out of this cycle just yet. I think it will end in March 2025, if you ask me. It's my personal opinion. Now's the time where I bought a big enough bag of UFO where I'm like, okay, I got a few wallets that are set up. I want to combine them, but I don't want to pay the transfer tax. I'm just like, I'll leave them. I should have bought them all on one wallet, right? I should have. But then I go, well, maybe one wallet I'll sell at a certain price point, and one I'll ride to the absolute peak to where we start to drop and make it through all that volume is how I see it. Let's see. When gas is high and the market is selling off, that is a signal to buy. Never fails. Yeah, the vets are going to play the game a lot differently than people that are new to any chain or new to crypto. We know we've seen far worse than this, especially if you've been in a bull market and you head into a bear market. When you head into a bear market, you'll just wake up one morning and you're like 50% off. What the? Right? Like we get these dips like today, and it's hard to stomach for some people, but then you'll really know when you're in a bear market. You'll just wake up and realize like, oh man, that was fun. And hopefully you got out with what you could. But I really like the performance on UFO on a day like this, where it's at. And I want to see when everything does recover, because again, ultimately, I believe that the ecosystem is a leverage on Ethereum, and Ethereum is going to have to recover back to 4,000 and go beyond. The sentiment has been really good across the board. Finally seeing the SAC funds in the green. We were just 32 million in the green, just a little bit over. Now we're 32 million in the red. And that, like it says, it happens in a 24-hour period from zero to a hero. And those who just hold and accumulate versus selling for a loss and bailing, they reap the benefit, especially if we have the bounce I believe we'll have. But back to the moon calculators here. It's I think it's in your best interest at days like this. Like, I'm not a financial advisor, but days like this, I just go to the drawing board and I know my game plan. I know what I have a vision of potential prices for Pulsechain, Pulsex, Hex, UFO, and everything. And I just run these numbers to encourage myself of what I'll miss out on if I do get weak hands and sell, which, nobody wants to do. But sometimes these markets will get the best of you, right? It happens. So when I post on Twitter videos about Richard Hart and the things he says, I'm hoping you watching those to draw strength from the man, the myth, the legend, and hear his words, and they keep your hands diamond. I go and I look at moon math numbers, like here on Pampy.app, so that I could say, hey, there's a lot of money in the SAC funds. That's a lot to come in the Pulsechain. We're not over yet. This is what I'll miss out on if I decide to sell. My PulseX, I'll say, hey, let's say 100 million gets injected. Let's calculate that. Let's take a look. Let's dream, right? Because the only thing like that pushes a person to do the things that they do is because they dream, whether it's when they're asleep or while they're daydreaming. But somebody that succeeds on the high level, they keep on dreaming. They keep on thinking big. They eliminate the negativity. They eliminate the small peanut brain thoughts, and they draw things up in their mind. But now, all these calculations I run on my head, I can come here and look at that, and understanding that, look at sell pressure is not implemented on here. I understand that, right? But I also want to keep it, keep the reality alive and the end goal, right? These investments can be liquid, and they could be liquidated and sold by you in an instant. It's not like my house. I don't go on realtor.com every day to check what my house is worth like I do with these investments, because I know, I live in my house for one, but it's not like, oh, honey, we're up 120,000. Let's call the realtor. No, it's a long-term position for me and my family. We plan on moving on soon to a bigger home and renting this one out in the very near future. And I feel like I need to treat my crypto assets like the same way too, just like ignore the numbers and think more further down the road. Obviously, if you hold real estate for 10 years, it goes up and down. But every 5 to 10 years, you start to gradually see those numbers, and they go up and down, and they're like, okay, I'm up. Unless there's like a housing crash, right? But I just need to be more, focused on the bigger picture. Obviously, I think my house already has I've been in my house for, I don't even know, but it's already been up in value. Real estate's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Love Pulsechain, and my favorite altcoins are PTGC, Alien, UFO, and Enki. Yes. And like I said, Enki has what you would call a good opportunity, because let's go to the website for Enki really quick. The more you purchase of Enki, the bigger position you get with Enki, for example, right? And these numbers are not up to date yet as far as the value. The higher rewards you get. So imagine holding your Enki and building your position, and you earn reflection rewards and bear, wrap Bitcoin, pDAI. And those numbers on each of those assets go parabolic. Let's say wrap Bitcoin pegs, let's say pDAI pegs, Teddy Bear goes to the $500 million evaluation that Maria was talking about yesterday, that it's time, it's ready, right? And you save those reflections, and then a trope on top of that, your rewards become more valuable. You can take those rewards and do what you want with it. Buy more Enki, whatever you want. These have very powerful compounding effects, right? Compounding your rewards by letting them sit, selling rewards to buy more Enki to earn more rewards, to keep gaining on your position, and just relaxing. Treat it like your real estate. You can look at the price all day long, but as long as you're not there like in the mindset to sell. Like I said, I'm not on realtor.com looking at my house value every day. And it's probably one of my biggest investments I made in my life, right? Because it's just not something I do. It's not typically something that people do, but I need to get more comfortable with my assets that way too, especially in crypto, because really the things I've held the longest was my very first 25 Bitcoin I bought around $250, $350 range. Kept it. That I look at as like my retirement, my 401k, because crypto is my job. I don't have a normal job where my paycheck goes into a 401k, right? My penalty versus a 401k would be selling Bitcoin this cycle when I believe 4 years from now, it can reach 400,000, 500,000. I think the peak possible number this cycle is anywhere between 150 to 250. Give me anywhere between that, that's cool. But I'm going to have to sit through it in a round trip because the end goal is down the road. That's how I treat my ETH and my Bitcoin, other than the ETH that I've used to get into projects in DGen, right? To try and make more ETH. The greed. The nerve of me to do that. But back to, let's see. Yeah, this is remarkable. I mean, if you guys were just here from the beginning of time and you experienced this, flipping the charts of the ratios, right? Man, getting in even a month, let's just say you didn't get into January 2024. The ratio was 1 to 0.15. Now it's 1 to 6.2. And it's barely 11 months later, almost 1 year later, and you outperformed Pulse. So any maxi out there in all of Pulsechain, if you would have told them, park your Pulse in the PTGC, because later you can swap out at a 6 point. You can get in right now at a 0.2 ratio, and later you'll exit at 6.2. Get way more Pulse down the road. You love Pulse. You want more than that? A lot more? Just in 1 year? They would have done that in a heartbeat, because we're not even at sacrifice prices yet. And they had that opportunity. But instead, people don't want to speculate and risk, their Pulse. And the only reason why they wouldn't wanted to have done that is because they didn't research the technology and how things were built early on. What did we know about PTGC early on? It was built like Hex, trustless, a smart contract, no admin keys, immutable code. It was designed under the same principles that Richard Hart designed Hex originally with. So what did Hex do? 10,000x, right? And what happened to have done 10,000x on Pulsechain so far? It's not Pulse. It's not PulseX. Not Hex, not eHex. What asset did a 10,000x? Oh, wow. Oh, snaps. A speculative, one of the highest, the token to speculate on in the entire chain. The one, pDAI, the biggest narrative in crypto. pDAI. So when you see all that hate out there, all right, it's not that they don't like the token. It's not that they don't believe in the token. I think most of these people are so upset that they missed the opportunity. And I don't blame them. I've had that happen many times, right? And all you can do is bite the bullet. But a lot of them are expressing emotions on Twitter. And it's just, what do you do after you sit around for 2 years and you're not to where you thought you would be on your sacrifice or your Pulse that you bought? And then you look at these speculative assets that people speculated on, and they risked it. They went after it. They understood the code. They understood the concept. They understood the technology. They understood what it took to maintain and keep those positions until now. They did better. Just like anybody that went outside of Bitcoin and bought an ETH. And then anybody that said, hey, I'm going to take my ETH. I'm going to buy some Chainlink. I'm going to buy some, maybe some Shiba Inu. it's crazy how crypto works. So that's what blockchains are designed to do. Blockchains bring opportunity to speculate on tokens. Outside of the gas token, everything is like can be an X multiplier across the board when you look at it on every chain, right? Once you're at a $3,500 Ethereum and something launches on Ethereum, let's say with a billion supply, has awesome tokenomics, and you're telling me that you'll get more X's at ETH, even hitting 20K, even if it hit 20K, versus buying a token at a penny that could potentially hit $1. This is how you make money in crypto, is the assets you speculate on outside of the core gas tokens on any blockchain. If you get in those blockchains early, you'll make money on those, but there's many multiples you can make more on the tokens that are available from builders. It's simple math. I did it every cycle. I did it this cycle. And when we go into a bear market, I'm going to do it into the next cycle, and into the next, and into the next, and into the next. The good thing here is, all right, you see all this moon math? It's all here. Oh, we haven't even taken a look at Mav yet. I'll bring up Mav in a minute. Mav holds a special place for me for a reason. I won't get into that because it just does. Maverick's special to me as far as the name. Now, let me go to the Maverick chart. Now you have the alien technology, the entire narrative, you know, PTGC, UFO. We saw what PTGC did. We saw how it outperformed Pulse. We're seeing the same tech put on UFO, how it outperformed. It's outperforming Pulse now. It's about to skip the 1-to-1 and go to a 1-to-2, 1-to-3, do its thing. It was designed to do that. We're on our way. And like we're talking about with Enki, Alien, X, and Mav, low market caps. They got their ratios with Pulse, just like anything else. Then they got their ratios to PTGC and everything else they're bonded with. If you look at the ratio to Mav to PTGC, you can start following that. You see here, it's 195.5. Swap the chart to here, and you'll go, okay, well, look at that. Well, right now, this is a good time to get in for me, not financial advice, because the ratio is all the way down here. Look at that. If you're interested in trading the MAV to PTGC ratio, right, to get more PTGC, or you can stick to, you know, trying to get more Pulse and follow this ratio, which is 1271. And then you go, okay, same thing here. Good time to buy in regards to ratio and even price, if that's how you look at things. I don't look at things with price. I look at the ratio. But all the same, I guess you could from whoever you ask, depends on who you're talking to. People are like, nah. But that's how I look at things. So very interesting. Very interesting. And you can take a look at the moon math right now. Hey, CryptoCon, you gotta get Enki and Alien on here. I don't see it. What's going on? What's going on? Is it part of the premium package? Let's look at Mav with PTGC moon math. This is like this is a 0 factor. Well, let's put a 2 and see what we get. So this is assuming that PTGC hit 50 cents and Mav did a 2x. Oh, I see why it has the X. So this would be PGC reaching 50 cents. Man, these numbers, man, like I'm telling you, this is crazy. Like you'd be like, PTGC hit 50 cents? What in the? But it has all the reasoning and how, you know, this is all experimental. So you can change your inputs to just about anything. The numbers you got to finagle, right? Change up a little bit. the map price, what it would be, what PTGC would be at this price point. Then you can change like the 5x factor here. Changes the ratios. And there you go. MAV current price, PTGC current price, and a PTGC went to 10 cents. So I look at PTGC as like, yeah, it could hit a penny. It could hit a penny. Let me change that to a 2 with this here. And it should drop it down to, did they change the cents here? You got to play with it. You got to play with it. You have definitely got to play with it and change the numbers up. And then you'll see, all right, this is assuming 5 cent PTGC, MAV 2xing its performance. And it would be $9.78 on a 9 cent token. Let's take a look at the supply. I haven't looked at any of those factors either. 19 million tokens? Damn! Homie, what in the world? I better go ape on this one. 1.7. Yeah. 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 I shouldn't have put that on camera. LP is going to get bigger too. All that good stuff. We see these start off real small. Yeah, I just figured out the next big one for me. Live. Like I didn't even, you know what? When I first bought it, I didn't even look at that. I normally look at everything. But right now, my research has been like Twitter. All right, cool. This guy's buying it. Let me get it in the shopping cart. And then forget about it. You know, move on. That's what I've been doing. I wouldn't recommend it. Look at, we're selling off right now. Ratio still solid. You know, that's still solid. Didn't move much. That is crazy times, man. Let's look at the price of Bitcoin. We're coming up on the hour mark. Time to get off. All right, Bitcoin. Oh man. Sheesh, man. How many people are getting liquidated right now? How many people are selling their bags at a discount? Unfortunately, I got to go buy them for me. Which one will it be? There's a lot of things on discount right now across the board. A lot of sales. Right, I buy that. I mint PZen. Don't talk about Bruno. Yikes. Let's see. Oh. All right. Solid X is on sale. Take a look at that. Shout out to Gelato. Did Gelato make any pairings with my favorites out there? Let's take a look. Let's see if he's doing it right. I know he made like 30 pairs. I hope he's got a pair with. Let's see. Wait for it. He's got a lot, man. He needs to pair up. Oh, he's got the X right here. Yeah. Did he pair up with Mav? He's missing Mav. He's missing Enki. He's missing Alien. I would have definitely done those before I did Fire. Definitely. Right? But yeah. He needs to add those. He got some random ones on there, but I understand why, like Access and Alive. Yeah, he's going to throw some Enki, some Alien, Mav. Maybe Mav's here. I don't see it. Just this one with X. Just this one. All right, guys. Don't forget, smash that like button. Drop a comment. Let me put this in the comments real quick. So you guys can do a little bit of moon math yourself out there. You know, while the market's dipping, like I said, think positive, dream big. From zero to a hero real quick. Tomorrow, everything could be back in the green, right? You'll be looking at this tomorrow and it'd be down 100 million, or we go back and we're break even and up 20 million. We'll see. But enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Have a happy holiday season, right? The season to be jolly. Almost Christmas. Pound the like button. Till next time, we'll shall do it again. Oh, wait. I just bought 4 dips before you, bro. There we go. Shout out to Guga. Until next time, we shall do it again. Yeah, dog.
Lady LaFontaine, let's get it. Yeah. It's hard to walk. to riches, back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, just back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, just back to riches. Got my call from the R2R. Farmers going up, Brody, check the chart. In the loot, buying all these plots. Thomas G and Mike got the chat on lock. Wanna drip and pause. Got these dogs and pigeons, farm me, I'm ready to score. Got me a bag of the rich and hard, and I think I need more. Group got me in the wave, now I'm swimming the shore. I'm up to the core. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, just back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, back to riches. It's all too long, it's all too long. Back to riches, just back to riches.